Welcome to the Hook and Reel Kayak Fishing Show, brought to you by Classic City Kayak Anglers and Coyote Outfitters in Watkinsville, Georgia, with your hosts, Freddie Garza and David Smith.
Welcome to the Hook and Reel Kayak Fishing Show, your home for all things kayak fishing in the state of Georgia. Today we're going to give you some information on the Georgia High School Kayak Fishing State Championship, some Bass Nation updates, and look into the club scene of kayak fishing in Georgia. Also, we have an interview today with Mr. Ron Champion. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with Ron. An excellent interview, a lot of good information from Ron, so look forward to hearing that interview. With that, Freddie, start us off with Georgia High School kayak fishing.
Sure. I wanted to get out a few bits of information about our state championship that we're going to be hosting in conjunction with Southeastern Youth Kayak Anglers. We're excited to be joining up with them. Kind of how the breakdown is going to be for this joint tournament is that Southeastern will be hosting their championship at the same time, but they'll be running on Saturday and Sunday, where the Georgia High School Kayak Fishing Association, ours is a one-day event, so we will be hosting it on October 17th, that Saturday. That Saturday afternoon, we'll crown our first high school state champion, and we're definitely looking forward to that as well. A couple of other things I wanted to discuss. For those, we're starting to get a few questions and comments about how to join Georgia High School Kayak Fishing Association. We'll start to get that information put out on our Facebook page, so when you have an opportunity, go out there, like the page, and follow it. That's where we'll put the majority of our information. We're going to start to get a little better about putting it on Instagram as well. So look for those two pages, and you should find all the information needed to participate in our events. But just to give you kind of a cap or an overview of what's all entailed in becoming a member. So Georgia High School Kayak Fishing Association, we have a $20 annual due. For those who have fished with us since last season, your dues are not due up until November. So once November hits, it'll start a new year. For those who have not fished with us, it is a $20 annual due, and that will put information on the Facebook page of how to get that taken care of. If your school is not a part of Student Angler Federation and FLW, so if you have not paid those dues to Student Angler Federation, FLW, through your school, you can join our roster at Georgia High School Kayak Fishing Association. So if that is the case, reach out to us and we'll walk you through that. And that is a $25 annual due for Student Angler. One thing that I do want to discuss for those that are new is going to be our format. So in kayak fishing, one thing that differs from the glass boats is that we do measure, we length. So you will need a measuring device. This is the new catch board that is approved with Georgia High School Kayak Fishing Association. A few other devices that are approved are going to be the hog trough, and Catch also makes an aluminum style measuring device as well. So all three of those are acceptable measuring devices. We realize there's a few others out there, but we prefer the Catch and the hog trough at this time. One other thing that you'll need to do, we do have it on our Facebook page. We'll make sure that we refresh that. Is that each angler, if you didn't fish with us last year, and even if you did fish with us last year, come up November, you're going to need to take the kayak safety course and email the certificate in to be eligible. So we still have some time before our official kickoff for this year, which we're looking to target that in March. So you have between now and March to get all of these items completed and ready to go. One of the things that we'll be focused on in the spring is going to be our national championship spot. So obviously between March and May, everyone will be vying for that national championship spot for FLW. So we look forward to that one. That one's going to be close to home, so not a long travel for those that are going to qualify to go fish that one. So we're excited for that. But other than that, that's pretty much all I had for Georgia High School Kayak Fishing Association at the moment. Please follow our Facebook page and Instagram, as we will start putting out more information about this upcoming season. So moving on to Bass Nation, wanted to just remind everyone that our event is October 24th, Lake Sinclair. Oconee Marina,
Oconee Springs Park.
Oconee Springs Park and Marina, excuse me, will be our host for that, and we're super excited about that event. So registration is still open. Rosters are still open, so there's still an opportunity for you to jump on one of these rosters and participate in this event. It's going to be a great event. We did mention that Jamie Koza and the Dugout will be our title sponsor this year. And guys, I can't tell you enough how blessed we've been with all of our sponsors, that are stepping up to really make this an event and make it a trail for next year. So come on out and support Georgia Bass Nation and help us grow this thing. Last but not least, let's talk about some local club events. We had real crazy kayak tournaments, fishing and I'm going to blank on this one, Etowah River for their finale. They had a great turnout out there. I think it was 30 plus anglers that they had fishing with them that weekend. And let's run down the top 5 for that event. First place is someone near and dear to Coyote and myself with Georgia High School Kayak Fishing Association, and that's going to be Mr. Gage Coley. We're super excited to be working with him this year, and what a way to kind of get things kicked off with a new relationship and how to end the season. So, Gage Coley, congratulations on your first place finish there with Real Crazy. Second place was Shane Young. Third place was Joseph G-Man. Fourth place was Alan Lee Starling, and fifth place was Jason Barnes. So congratulations to everyone who placed in the top 5 for that tournament. Looked like they had a lot of great sticks fishing out there that weekend, so nothing came easy. And for you guys to finish the top 5, that's definitely commendable. So congratulations once again. One other note on the local scene, we have a few things that are coming up this weekend. As a matter of fact, we have a huge Saturday lining out for multiple clubs. We've got Peach State that's going to have their annual King of the Rock on Saturday, September the 19th. East Central Georgia kayak anglers are going to be on Lake Russell this Saturday, and KBF will be on Lake Lanier this Saturday. So Saturday is looking to be a very interesting day. We look forward to posting those or talking about those results here in the next episode, so stay tuned for that. Looking ahead, we've got Georgia Kayak Fishing League and Classic City Kayak Anglers. They'll be finishing out their season on the Flint River on September 26th. So if you haven't had an opportunity to get signed up for that one should be a great event. Head on over to the page and find the details on how to get signed up for that. Other than that, that's it. That's basically all we have for local clubs in Georgia Bass Nation. But super excited. We had a great interview with Mr. Ron Champion, and I think we talked about some great things, and I look forward to letting you guys all hear what we had to talk about.
Good deal. All right, guys. Here's the interview with Mr. Ron Champion.
Hey guys, everybody, welcome to our Zoom call tonight. We've got the famous Ron Champion with us tonight. Ron, welcome to Zoom call with Hook and Reel Kayak Fishing Show. Appreciate you being here, taking time out of your schedule away from your family to be here. We thank you a lot for that. Most everybody in kayak fishing in Georgia especially already know who you are, but tell us a little bit about Ron Champion, give us some background, and tell us who you are.
Oh man, I'm just a fisherman like everybody else trying to be. It's I've been very fortunate, to do pretty well in the kayak scene. I came over from the bass boat world. Oh man, back I think 2013 is when I started, doing some kayak fishing. And of course everybody knows Chad Hoover. Chad's the one that kind of that pushed me into doing it, and he didn't push me, he just told me, what he was working on and what was coming, and what he thought, this sport would grow into. And I was fishing the boat scene and doing really well. That was back when I lived in Tennessee. Been several years ago. I mean, of course, like I said, I'm in Georgia now. Been here 5 years, and it's yeah, man, I got involved in it, and it's been cool to watch the sport grow and how fast it's grown. In the last, especially the last 3 or 4 years. With all the national trails now, it's not just KBF, which they're still doing their thing and doing a great job over there, Chad and all those guys. But now with Hobie having the BOS series and BASS being involved, and I know Freddie is doing a lot with the BASS side and Georgia, and it's amazing to see, where the sport's grown. And I've just I was fortunate to get in the beginning, and gotten to know a lot of people, and had some success and had some failures. I think that comes with the territory, and it's been awesome, man. It's a cool way to go out and fish, and it's easy to get involved in. Guys can literally get involved in doing this for a few $100. And what else? I don't know of another sport out there that you can actually go out and compete and win the kind of money that you can on tournament trails, and only have a very small investment in this. So it's been really cool. It's been awesome so far.
Good deal. Well, Ron, I guess so. With your kayak fishing, I mean, are you doing any boat tournaments, or has it been just strictly kayak fishing for the last few years?
Yeah, it's been pretty much all kayaks. That's probably going to change pretty soon. I've got some really amazing sponsors, and they're really pushing for me to do some boat stuff. They like to see me on a little bit bigger scale, and I'm cool. That's where I cut my teeth.
Right.
I've been tournament bass boat fishing out of a boat since I was a kid, man. My first tournament I fished out of a boat, it was called Take a Kid Fishing Rodeo. And that tournament series is still going on in Tennessee, man. And I was probably 10 or 11 when I fished my first bass tournament. And, man, I used to my dad would always take me. We didn't have a boat, but he'd borrow my Uncle David's boat. And, it was just, man, I can still, I don't know what it is. I've said this before in another interview. I can still smell the water. The very first tournament, the very first morning, I can still that smell of the water, the smell of the boats and the gas and the fumes. And man, I loved it. I mean, it put a bug in me like no other. And then I ended up buying my first boat when I was 18. And was tournament fishing. And but yeah, I'm never going to not do kayak stuff. I mean, I love this sport too much. I love the people too much. And, it's gotten me a long way. I never expected to be doing this in a kayak. I thought I'd be doing it out of a bass boat. But I stepped away from fishing for, when I lived in Nashville for several years, just kind of rebuild my life. Went through a divorce and, all that stuff, I mean, I know there's a lot of guys that can relate to that, when you have to step back and rebuild your life. And I did that, and have an amazing family now. Have a beautiful wife. It's 10 years younger than me. And so I did good there. Got two great kids. My son started high school this year. My daughter, she'll be 10 tomorrow. Birthday's tomorrow. So she'll be 10, and they're both into fishing just as much as I am. They love it. And a boat is definitely getting back into some boat tournaments. That's in my future. It's not too far away. There's a few people that's knew about it. There's a couple other anglers out there. I won't name no names. They're kayak. The kayak fishing scene, and y'all know as well as I do. There's some guys out there that could hold their own with anybody. Absolutely. I mean, truly can. And I'm fortunate. I know a lot of professional boat fishermen. Because I've been in this industry for a long time, and they know it. I think fishing out of a kayak, you have to slow down, and you have to fish what's given to you. If you pick an area, sometimes you can't move during the day, which we're allowed to, but sometimes you can't. Right. So you really have to, you put a lot of planning into the area you're going to pick, and then maybe that bite turns off, but you stay with it and you grind it, and you don't have that option of just up and going, across the lake. Some of these lakes are a mile, 2 mile wide. It takes you 30 minutes just to get across them. Some of them an hour. Right. And so I think it makes you a better fisherman. I think fishing out of a kayak makes you a better fisherman. So that transition from one to the other and then getting back into it, I know Mike Iaconelli, he's a good friend of mine. He's talked about it. It makes him slow. There ain't nobody more wide open than him. And, right. And he's even said it, slowing down. Right. And, man, I think it makes you a better fisherman. I truly do.
Definitely. Yeah, I was interested. Mike's been pretty vocal since the BOS tournament that he was in,
Yeah.
and he brought up a lot of interesting points, in relation to how different it is from what where he's coming from on the boat side. But he sounds like he's full in. He wants to figure it out and get
Yeah.
that different style of fishing. And I agree with you, Ron. I think there's certain attributes that come out of the guys that are successful on the kayak side, and there's some things that may take a little bit of transition or getting used to flipping from a boat to a kayak and vice versa. But there's, makes you an overall better fisherman, especially
Sure.
if you're doing the two. And that's, you bring up a really good point, because obviously with bass being so new here in the state of Georgia, trying to relate and trying to, let's call it what it is for me in directing bass right now. It's trying to sell the organization, to the anglers here in Georgia. And I think that's one of the things that is for some people who are very interested in upping their game. If you start with bass kayak side, there's other opportunities that could potentially be there as you move up and become a member. And I think that's something that has always been there. I think Chad Hoover did a great job in building what he had with KBF and those opportunities too. And to be quite honest, I don't think any of us would be here without the hard work that he put down on it. So.
No, I completely agree with that. There's no way this sport would be where it's at without, the work that he put in.
Right.
Getting KBF off the ground and up and running and starting probably the first national trail, and
right.
And because once he got everything started, you started seeing all your little local clubs popping up. And I always tell everybody, because that's where I started. I mean, I started fishing with KBFTN and up in Tennessee, and they have an amazing club. They're out in Nashville. I think Craig Dye and Jeremy, they started that club and did an amazing job. Neither one of them live in Tennessee now, but that club is still going. And I mean, we were doing it was either Tuesday or Wednesday night tournaments during the middle of the week, like a 3 or 4 hour tournament, and there'd be 50 or 60 people show up in a kayak, and we all launched from the same spot. Dude, it was insane, but it was so cool, and it was so much fun. Right. And the local clubs, that's where it's at. I mean, I tell people all the time that are interested in it, it's like, man, I'd love to do that, but I don't want to pay the $100 entry or the $200 entry. I was like, start fishing with a local club. Even if a lot of clubs, they just like you just to come out and fish with me. If you don't want to be a part of the tournament, you can still come fishing.
Right.
And, learn why we love this sport so much and get involved with a local club. I wish I had a local club close to me, man. Where I'm at, we don't. And there's a lot of kayak guys here. But a lot of these guys are saltwater fishing all the time. I wish we could get a bass fishing club started down here. Maybe I need to talk to you off camera.
Definitely.
And get some pointers on how to get something going with these guys down here. We just don't have a lot of fresh water close.
Gotcha. Well, you bring up another good point, Ron. That one that I wanted to kind of get some background from you on. You mentioned the local clubs. How did you start? Did you have I guess coming from Tennessee, were you fishing with a lot of those local guys there before you started to hit more of the national thing?
Yeah, I started out with KBFTN, and then I fished some stuff with a couple other little clubs, there in Tennessee, depending on, who was having some terms. There's a group that started out. I grew up on Timms Ford Lake and Woods Reservoir and Normandy. Those were my home lakes as a kid, and there was a club that started up there, and I went down and fished a couple of their tournaments. But yeah, it was fishing with those guys, fishing their just the weekly tournaments, and then they would have, maybe a bit larger monthly tournament, and then they put a team together and had did some state championships, and we won the team state 2 years in a row, and then I got second on the state tournaments, and I mean, it's that local level, and then of course as KBF grew and the bigger tournaments started, and he started having the trail series. And then, of course, the national championship popped up, the first one, and I was fishing all that stuff. And but yeah, it started out on that's the small scale, man. Just fishing with your, the local guys, local club, and it just grew from there. But it grew fast. I mean, that was right. That was right when everything took off. That 2014, 2015 transition. I think 2015 is when it really popped open, because that was the first year that Hobie had their first actually no, they had their first Bass Open Series tournament on Kentucky Lake in 2014.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was the first tournament I ever fished with them. It was their first tournament, and I actually had a Wilderness Systems Commander, and I found out real quick that was not the right kayak for Kentucky Lake. You can't ledge fish out of that boat, and you'll sink. And so I said, when I left there, I said, when I come back next year for this tournament, I'll be in the pro angler. And sure enough, I was. I bought one a few months later.
That's awesome. We're enjoying hearing a lot about Tennessee. We're going to be wrapping up tomorrow with the second segment with Craig Dye, and he kind of gave us some insight on, the startings of things there for the kayak scene in Tennessee with KBFTN and the cast and all of that. And it's really hats off to the guys who put forth that work there in Tennessee, because the organization there is it's definitely something to be modeled after for sure. And Georgia being so new, I mean, we had a influx in, what was it, 2018, David, when we saw a huge spike in the amount of clubs that came on the scene for Georgia, which was great. But I think, to see some organization kind of moving forward is going to be even better for the anglers. So we're definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, and maybe like I said, we got to get something going down here where I live.
Right.
It just, I mean, we just don't have nothing like close. I mean, no big water, without having it being a couple hour drive. But I think we could still put something together. And we got the Ogeechee River, you got the Savannah River, which Savannah River, it's a lot of flow, man. It really is. And I hate moving water, man. I swear. I just got back from that Susquehanna event up there with Hobie, and I tried to talk myself out of going so many times, but I went up there and I fought it, and I had a top 20 finish. I was lucky to fish that. I did good up there with some of those river guys, man. I was proud of that finish. And but yeah, man, it's when you was talking about Craig has done an amazing job. Helping, those Tennessee guys with those getting stuff up and running. They built an amazing club, and a lot of people was modeling off of KBFTN and Geoff Lockett. He has, I think it was KB. How was his? It was Tennessee. So anyway, he runs a club, and they had a great. I fished some of their club stuff when I still lived up there, and yeah, man, it was those guys have done great. And I've seen the growth in here in Georgia. I've been watching all the different clubs pop up. We've got Real Crazy and Peach State. Golly, was it like 4 or 5 groups?
Last we counted, what were we up to, Dave? Like 5 or 6?
I think it's 5
or 6. Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
You got Peach State, Real Crazy, Classic City, Georgia Kayak Fishing League, Chattahoochee. So 5 is what we're up to.
I know Clint. He's doing that. The Fishers
Men,
Fishers of Men group as well. So man, I wish I could make some of those events, and probably need to set some time aside to try to make a few of them, throughout the year. But I have a busy schedule, a lot of traveling. When when I'm on the road going to an event, I'm usually going anywhere from 5 to 7, sometimes even 8, 9 days. And if I got 2 events, back to back, a lot of times I'll just make a big circle and I'll be gone for a couple of weeks. And that's hard, hard. It's hard to be away from your family like that. And, try to space it out as much as I can. It's worked out okay this year though. I don't feel this time last year, man, I was wore out. I mean, like really, like by the time the end of the season, I was over it. I was like, I didn't want to fish no more. I really didn't. And but I feel good and refreshed this year. My schedule, it worked out really well, spaced out. I've been home, 3 weeks. I'll have to be 3 weeks this trip before I head out for Arkansas for the next Hobie event. So that's a 13-hour drive, so that's going to be probably an 8-day trip right there. So
Well, David will shoot me if I don't at least throw this out there. But if for some reason you have an opening on the 24th of October, we will be at Sinclair with Bass Nation.
So that is actually, I penciled that in on my schedule.
I like to hear that, Ron.
So
it
I
would be
did.
wonderful to have you for sure.
Because I was looking at the Alabama one. If I didn't go to the Susquehanna event, I was going to go over and fish the Bass event in Alabama. I even talked to Steve about it. Steve Owens. I actually messaged him, and that was my plan. If I didn't go up there, I was going to go over and fish the Alabama because it's on Gunnersville, and I've had great success there. I know that body of water national championships coming up there. I was looking at that one, but since I didn't make that one, and I didn't go to La Crosse, I need to try to get qualified. So my plan is to come fish that one. It is.
That'd be great. We'd love to see it.
Yeah.
You had mentioned, Ron, that you were fishing out of a wilderness system. What year did you hook up with Hobie, and how's your relationship been with Hobie since joining their team?
Man, it's been awesome. Yeah, I was in the wilderness systems the very first year, 2014. And then that was a boat that Chad put me in, and that was when Hook One was still running. He owned it, and he rigged out a boat for me, and like, here, take this and go fish. Represent us and the brand, and I did, and it was a great boat, man. I still think that's an awesome boat. That Commander is a great boat, great river boat. Fast boat, easy to paddle, super light. After I fished that Kentucky Lake event, actually I qualified that year, and I went to the TOC. This was before Hobie had it, and I went down to Lake Fork, and I took that Commander to Lake Fork the very first year, and I actually got fourth in that tournament that first year out of that Commander. And yeah, it don't take long to figure out that big water. You need a different boat.
Right.
And so 2015, I got my first pro angler. And then I got another one the following year, 2016. And then 2017, I think it was the first year I went with the team, 2017, 18. I think 2017, 2018. I'm proud to be a member of Team Hobie. They're AJ, and this was when Keaton was still with them, and Morgan and Kevin and those guys. And they're good people. They really, really, truly are. And I love my Hobie, and I love all kayaks. It's not just, I tell people all the time, a Hobie's not for everybody.
Right.
It's not, and if you're fishing, it's great for big water and open water, and but if you're fishing somewhere where you're fishing nothing but grass and lily pads, that's not the boat you want to be in. You don't want to, you need something you can paddle.
Right.
No, man, I love the team, and they've been an amazing sponsor for me. They take care of me every year and give me the newest boat that's available, and it's been awesome.
Good deal. Now, it's definitely been interesting to see how much they've done for the sport, and the support that they've given. And I was glad to see and happy to see the success they had in their first year when they really went full bore with the Bass Open. So I'm glad for AJ and all those guys, because I definitely know that it's hard work. It's not something that just pops up overnight. To get the comments that you're hearing coming out of Hobie and the Opens with the way the tournaments are run and the payouts and everything, that's definitely kudos to their team and Hobie for giving such great support.
Yeah,
AJ
one
thing
does an amazing job over there.
Always, I have to ask you this question, because it's always, I don't get to see enough of it, but I know Hobie puts a lot of time and effort into it, and that's the Worlds. And you've been to Worlds, correct?
Twice.
If you can just explain that whole process. How do you qualify? What's the format for it? I just struggle all the time to find information about it. The tidbits that I do, it's very interesting. It can't be a cheap event for sure, just the way that, from what I've gathered from it.
Right. The first year that I won the Hobie Bass Open on Kentucky Lake. Let's see, the first one was 2014, 2016. I think it was 2016. I went to in 2016. There's my jersey framed on the wall. I had to look at it. That was Hobie World 6, and we were the host country. So it was in Louisiana. And what they do is usually the host country, that team is going to be consisted of more. It's going to be a bigger team than all the other countries that are coming in. I think we might have had like 8 or 9 guys that year, and it was in Louisiana. So Hobie flew me down. Everybody has identical rigged pro angler boat setting there. Power, everything's rigged identical. Lowrance Grouse power poles. Your same net, everything. All you got to do is bring your fishing rods and your tackle that you're going to be using, whatever species fish you're fishing for.
Wow.
And it's usually a multiple species tournament. Usually, when we were in Louisiana, it was your biggest redfish, your biggest trout, and your biggest flounder. So one fish per species each day, and it was your total length of those 3. And we had they fly you in. They put you up and take care of you and feed you. And the captain's bags are amazing. There's so much stuff in there. You get your jersey, and you get there, and your name's on your boat, and that American flag by your name. And I think everybody chokes up and sheds a few tears, when you see that. For a chance to represent your country, that's a big deal, man.
Absolutely.
I don't care what you're doing. We could be throwing lawn darts outside if it's a chance to represent your country doing it. It's pretty cool.
Right.
And man. But you get 3 days, 2 days of practice, and then you have 3 days of tournament. So it's 5 days fishing on the water. And it's usually a multiple species tournament. I'm not a saltwater guy. I went down there to that tournament, and I think I was in like 7th place after day 1. I had a nice redfish, had a really big trout, one of the biggest trout caught the whole tournament, but didn't get my flounder. And I don't think nobody that whole tournament caught a flounder. Everybody knew it was going to be the one that was going to be tough.
Right.
But I ended up getting at the end of that. I think I had a top 20 finish in a saltwater worlds tournament. That's something I never did. And that was an awesome event. And then last year, I got to go to Hobie Worlds 8. I'd won the Iaconelli Celebrity Pro-Am up in New Jersey, and that was a Hobie Worlds berth on that tournament. And so I got to go to Australia last year.
Wow.
And I got to take my wife, and that was probably the most amazing trip. It is. It's the most amazing trip I've ever been to. And I'm good. Being that I was in Hobie World 6, I already knew a lot of the Aussie guys and a lot of guys from the other countries, from my buddy Ronald from, I think you got France and Finland, and, there's, golly, a lot of Chinese guys, Team China. I knew those guys. And when you get there, and especially, my first Worlds we were the host country. It was the U.S. So this was my first Worlds going to another country. And, man, Australia, dude, they showed out. Steve Fields put on a show for the whole entire Worlds. Every team from the Worlds took us out on a nighttime cruise on a boat and went downtown there in the Gold Coast and around all these $1 million homes and these skyscrapers, and we're all on a boat and we're eating, and of course you got some drinks mixed in there, and it was I got to hang out with my buddy Tim Percy from Canada. That's my dude. He actually pulled a hook out of my finger. There's a video floating around on his Facebook page.
I think I saw that.
Oh my God, dude! That dude, they ripped my finger plumb off. I got a hook. I was changing the hook out. We wasn't even fishing. We were at the house, man, and I dropped the hook and I reached down to pick it up under the chair. And I guess the hook stuck in the wood. And when I went to pull it up, dude, it drove it right up in the crack of that finger. And yeah, Tyson Peterson's the one that like popped it, and Tim was holding me and holding my hand and pushing the hook down. And that was a lot of fun. So I bled for my country in Australia, literally. And but no, we were over there. We were fishing for yellowfin brim. So it wasn't an actual multiple species tournament. It was just fishing for yellowfin brim. It's the winter time over there, beginning of winter. But it's the summer for us when we went, and you're fishing for these fish that are, look like about the size of a crappie, a nice 15-inch, 13, 14-inch crappie, but they fight like crazy. You're having the fish with like 2-pound tests, 4-pound tests, ultralight line. and crystal clear water. These fish can see you before you see them. You're trying to sneak up on them. I'm crappie fish. I'm shooting jigs underneath docks and stuff, taking what I knew, over there. And I was lucky again, man. I had another top 20 finish over there in Australia, fishing for something that I had no idea what I was doing when I got there. But, the cool thing about Worlds is when we were there in Louisiana, a lot of the local Louisiana guys, they took all the different countries out. You could pair up and go out and fish with a local, and they showed the guys how to catch reds and what to look for and catch trout. And then, of course, when you get to Australia, they want to see you enjoy your time over. Those Australia, some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. I love those guys. I've made some lifelong friends over there that I can't wait to see them again. I got several of them. They're supposed to be coming here and visiting with us, but they want you to enjoy yourself. It's that fellowship side. Yeah, we're there to compete against each other, but it's more than just that. It's about getting together and just enjoying. We all love fishing and enjoying it together. And they teach you so much. They want you to catch fish. And it was, of course, come competition days that, there's some bumping because it's a shotgun start, man. They let everybody go. And the way they set us up in Australia, we all were pedaling toward the bank, and they had 2 buoys out. And so if you were going this direction, you wanted to go around that buoy. If you was going the other upriver, you'd go this way. And so you're going this way, and everybody's got to go around these buoys. There was some spin outs, man. There was some bumping and grinding, and there was some name calling and cussing, and it was fun, man. It's a good time. But once those guys get out there in that open water, you can't keep up with them. Those guys, man, you can't. Those Swedes and the Aussie guys, man, I don't see how they pedal these kayaks as fast as they do. I mean, I'm 300 pounds, I'm a big guy, and I'm over here trying to maintain about 4.5 miles an hour that way, because I know I got to pedal for an hour and a half just to get to my fishing grounds, and literally in up current an hour and a half just to get to where I was fishing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and these guys, they would look like out of sight. Like I couldn't, they'd be a little bitty dot, and then they just disappear. They're I don't know how fast they're going. They're too fast for me. But no, that was Hobie Worlds, man. That's the experience. It's an amazing event, and how they take care of the anglers, and trying to get back, man. Trying to get back, and I think they're going back to Sweden for Hobie Worlds 9. That team's already set. And then, with the BOS series this year, we're all trying to make top 3 in Angler of the Year points for the BOS series, gets a team on spot on Team USA. So that was my goal going into this year's, to try to earn a spot and get back and maybe make Hobie Worlds 10.
Wow. So you brought that point out. That was going to be my next question. So for qualifying for the Worlds, it's what was it again? You can qualify through the BO.
Through the BOS. So what they did this year, they've taken the winner of the Kentucky Lake event, got a berth for Team USA. That tournament's always been that way. They're going to take the top 3 in points in the Angler of the Year at the end of the season. They'll make the team. I think maybe the winner of the TOC, I believe, gets a spot, something like that. I don't want to misquote, but there's ways to you got to really, to get that spot, man. You don't have, and the cool thing is you don't have to fish out of a Hobie. You can fish out of any kayak you want. Come fish their series and qualify and have a chance to go and represent your country and fish in some amazing places. And yeah, man, they're doing a heck of a job. But yeah, top 3, that's my goal, man. I just want to be somewhere in that top 3 at the end of the season, and I'm right there. We're close.
That's great. We wish you the best of luck. So thanks, with that, the top 3, is that the team? Just the 3 anglers?
So there'll probably be for Hobie for 10. I don't know how many people will be on 10. Of course, they haven't released where it's going to be. I got my suspicions where it might be, but no, we're there'll probably be there's usually anywhere from 7, 8, 9 anglers that'll make up the team. It's yeah.
Okay. Well, great. No, that's great information. Again, I've looked high and low for some of it, and I think a lot of the information kind of gets lost. But just so much information being put out there on social media. But the snippets that I did run across, it was very interesting, and my hat's off to Hobie and what they've done in support. So there's all these opportunities out there, and I think some of them go overlooked. So I appreciate you taking the time to kind of break it down.
We're the Pan American guys, USA Bass. They started their deal. We had that championship was in on Center Hill Lake last year in Tennessee. We had a team put together, and we're working this year for the U.S. Open. We got some information is going to be coming out. I'm working with those guys closely we're working on how we're going to put together a U.S. Open tournament later this for next season. A lot of countries will be invited to come fish the U.S. Open, and then getting work ready for the Worlds for that series with the Pan American for 2022. I can't tell you where that tournament's going to be at, but it's going to be in a pretty amazing place. It's pretty much all this stuff is guaranteed. It's already set. Right. But we got some cool stuff coming out. Some really cool opportunities for anybody. Your local anglers, the clubs, local clubs. We're working on something pretty special. It's gonna be cool.
Okay. So will that be formatted, in such a way that there will be a qualification process to be on that team? Okay.
Yeah, there'll be a qualification process to get an invite to come fish the U.S. Open, right? For next year, and then the Worlds will be the following year, and there'll be a qualification process for that. We're going to, of course, it being the very first one, they won't, we're definitely going to put a stack team together, for that one. The team from last year where we put fish, we were supposed to went to Panama this summer, but that's right when all this COVID stuff happened, so they had to postpone that one. They've actually postponed it to next year, so we will be taking that same team to Panama, and we'll be fishing for, I think, snook and something else over there. The cool thing with what they do is we're going to be fishing in lots of different countries. USA Bass. I mean, they're the bass boat. They have a bass boat team, which is is mixed up with a lot of FLW guys and BASS guys. Same type deal. They've been all over the world. I mean, they're talking like South Africa and all kinds of different places. That this is going to lead into. So. Some cool stuff, man. That's some of the stuff that we're working on in the background. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, it's going to be some good. I guess it's going to be some good opportunities for some guys.
As y'all are working on that, where would be a good place for somebody interested to know how to qualify for something like that?
We're putting that stuff together.
Okay.
Right now, literally right before I was supposed to get on this call, I had a call from them, and I wasn't able to take it. I was like, I'll have to call them back because we're just now putting together how we're going to do the qualifications for this year. I'd love to be able to tell you, but if I say something and it's not exactly right, I just don't want to be wrong in what I say. But hopefully soon, we'll have that information where we can put it out, and it'll be a true U.S. Open style tournament. We're looking at having there could be as many as 300 anglers invited to come to fish and actually qualify to make the World Championship team. What they're working on is pretty fantastic, man. It really is. I mean, I know this last year being the first year that they did it, of course there's always, it was an invite only group. I didn't even get invited in the main group. I got invited after some guys, declined to go, and I think some of the people that declined, wish they didn't decline, after it was all said and done. But
Right.
it was on a smaller scale, man. It was on Center Hill, and but we had a blast. It was good, man. And we won team gold, USA team win, and then my group of 3, man, was me, Cody Milton, and Craig Dye. We won silver. I'll fish with those 2 guys any day, man. They're hammers and good friends, and yeah. So no, we had a blast, man. Everybody that went to that tournament, I don't think you could talk to any of them and say they'd tell you that they didn't have fun. So Panama is going to be fun next year. As long hopefully this COVID stuff is over, where we can travel and go do that. And
Sure.
But we're going to be getting ready for this U.S. Open style tournament. Hopefully sometime later in the year next year. It's going to be pretty cool. I will be talking to you really close, because I will say this: for what we're looking at right now, fishing in your local clubs will be a very big benefit for a lot of people to have a chance to come and fish in the U.S. Open. So make for sure you're fishing with your local clubs next year. There's going to be a nice little opportunity for those guys.
Sounds good. Well, I know you mentioned that y'all are still putting together all the information, and I'm sure the viewers are looking forward to that. But where would be a good place for them to check, or where would y'all be putting this information? Is there a website that they can visit, or Facebook page?
So we do have a Facebook page. Let me just look it up real quick.
Yeah.
Fishing team. I think this is it. Okay, it's USA Kayak Fishing Team. Is the Facebook page? Yeah, USA Kayak Fishing Team. And that the right there on the header picture, that was our team from last year. And it's a mix of it being involved with the Pan American and the Pan American Games, what they're working for. They work closely with this, and we actually just got approved for this to be an official Olympic sport. So that's what they're pushing for, is with the Pan American part, and the reason that they can do it, for an Olympic sport like with what we're doing, is because in a kayak it takes you're exerting that energy. You're putting, there's a lot of effort that goes into it. It's not like you're in a bass boat zipping up and down the lake. So there's a lot of endurance that's involved in this. So they're working really hard, man, to put all that together. There is a website. I'm looking to see if I can find the website over here. Where is our about section? Let's see. I might be able to find it easier than that. Here we go. Let me see if this is it. USAbass.org.
USAbass.org. Okay.
Yeah. That will be that's the main Facebook page or main website. You can see there's Roland Martin on there. You can see Latimer and there's a bunch of guys in there, our kayak team. But they're doing a really good job. But there's going to be it's going to be a unique thing. It's similar like to what we talked about with the Hobie Worlds.
Right.
This is just another avenue to be able to go and represent your country and be a part of a really cool event. With the Open, the U.S. Open, they're going to invite, several other countries to come and be a part of that as well. And they're just kind of getting those guys used to, ready for the World Championship that will come in 2022. That's the plans for the Worlds.
That's great.
So yeah, just another opportunity for kayak fishing.
Absolutely, and a great one, especially when you're talking about representing your country. And that's what was very fascinating to me when I was seeing everything get put out in the media after you guys had completed that tournament. It was, I'm like, look at to see all those countries that had been a part of it was amazing.
Yeah. Did I lose you there for a minute there?
I'm sorry.
I had a call come in and I had to clear it out.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, they had I know some people, I saw all the snickering comments and stuff,
sure.
when we were up there, but I don't worry about all that crap. But they had a parade for all the teams, man.
Right.
Like up in Cookeville, Tennessee, they paraded us right down. The local businesses was part of it. We stopped and they got everybody ice cream, and
Right.
I think it was a Ford dealership that they provided trucks for everybody, and the fire department had a USA flag hanging over the middle of the road. And they paraded everybody around town. I mean, it was different, man.
Right.
But hey, they're putting a lot. They put a lot of. You know how it is. You got to put a lot of time in to put
Right.
stuff together like that. It's
Right.
not cheap either. A lot of
No.
expense. And man, my hat's off to them. I'm proud to have a chance to go fish with those guys, and I look forward to the U.S. Open, and I look forward to the Worlds as well. It's going to be awesome.
Well, I look forward to following it and watching, people get excited about it, as they should. And I think that's one of the things that we're trying to do here on this platform too, Ron, is just that, there's so much that gets overlooked, and there's so many hardworking people from the grassroots to, the Hobie and bass, everything has, it just doesn't happen overnight.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Ron. That was the first part of the interview. Please stay tuned for tomorrow night, which will be Friday night, for the second half of the interview with Ron. Great information coming from Ron. Always good to talk to him. And Ron, we appreciate you very much being on the show with us. So with that, Freddie, unless you got anything else?
Nope. I just like to thank Ron again for coming on the show. It was a great conversation, and look forward to helping out in whatever capacity that we can moving forward.
All right. And again, thanks again, Ron, for joining us. With that brings this show to a close. Thank you guys for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Take care.